Hello. Hi, Jack.
Hey guys,
Hello.
how are we?
Good,
Good.
thanks. We're dialing in from Cologne in Germany, where we're performing tonight.
Oh, beautiful. What's the weather like there?
Oh, it's lovely. It's
Sunny.
actually 24 degrees, sunny, perfect. And we have a balcony outside the backstage area, so that's where everybody's hanging out today.
Oh, very nice.
Where are you?
I'm in Queensland.
In Queensland. How is
Yeah.
it there?
It was beautiful today. It got a little bit overcast, but it was nice and warm. The wind was nice and cool, so it was a good day. Unfortunately, I was
Cool.
stuck inside at my 9 to 5, my secret identity in retail. So
Oh, yes. Perfect. Well, thanks for having us.
no, thank you for joining. Awesome. All right, we'll kick off. You guys all good with me recording? Beautiful. Alrighty. Hey guys, welcome to the show. Are you excited for your Australian tour?
Amazingly excited. It's we're so happy to be able to come back in such a relatively short time span, and we feel very welcome. And yeah, excited to see some more of the country this time.
Beautiful. So last year was obviously your first time in Australia, and you hit Melbourne and Sydney. Is there anything that you really want to experience this year that you missed out on last year?
No sharks.
No
No
sharks.
sharks.
I love the ocean, but it's a little bit apprehensive about the number of sharks.
Also, I don't want to meet the thunderweb spider.
That's
On a web spider.
I want to meet a fruit bat. That's one of my
yes.
favorite. So that's of course, yeah, the bird life and the people and it's very exotic for us. Everything is different. Every little sound, every little rock, everything. Like, and we're all obsessed with nature. So of course that's a big part for us.
It's very refreshing to hear that, because everyone's like, I want to hold a koala, or I want to do this, but you guys are so in tune with nature. The fact that you just want to experience the nature side of Australia is very refreshing. Yeah, I love that. I believe there is a bat sanctuary somewhere around Brisbane, so you might be in there.
Oh, glad we lost our female permanently.
Definitely seek out that would be a big dream for me, actually.
I can hold one and feed it.
Awesome. Well, so being a very niche genre of music, what's the writing process for a Heilung album or song?
It usually starts with me that I either dig out some ancient poem or writing on a runestone or something like that, or something that I wrote during or after my meditations or shamanic travels or stuff like that, and then I bring it to the table. And like if we stay with the traditional poetry, for example. Traditional Nordic poetry, especially, is something which runs by very strict meters. So the amount of syllables is always done in a certain frame. Is always counted, always repeating in the verses. And there's a certain type of rhyming, because like the later rhyming, and as we are used to rhyme today, it rhymes in the end. But traditional Nordic rhyming is in the start.
Okay.
And so the stresses in the words, they are always set in the same place. So the moment I start reading it, you can hear there's a certain rhythm in it, and like I usually read it a couple of times, and then Christopher is already starting tapping the finger on the board and like extracting rhythms. And there's also, because the stresses of the words are so regulated, there is automatically coming up something that inspires usually Maria to a very beautiful melody, and that is how we start juggling them more or less.
That's really cool. So it's sort of like creating a song, like, well, Japan's got haiku, so it's that same sort of take on poetry that they would have had. Is that what sort of?
Most probably. I mean, we're not language scientists, of course. If you have like very simply said like a poem where you always have like 3 syllables, 2 syllables, 3 syllables, 2 syllables, they
Right.
will most probably have not been playing a harp tune or rhythm with it that runs on 4/4. That
Yep.
unless they were like into super polyrhythmic stuff that we also dive in sometimes. Yeah.
So alien actually when you start nerding these old parameters of writing poetry, because there's like the ending of the word is what dictates how the sentence in like the third sentence should start. Like
Right.
it's completely to us like whoa, like but it's great poetry, and it takes a lot of time to do it, because Kai wrote Svanrant, which is our piece about Valkyries. It's all Valkyrie names. And yeah, the process for that one was so intricate.
That took a long time, yeah, because there is also certain families of rhyming. The Icelanders, they call it today Rímur. So that is where they describe very, very clearly how it is supposed to be done, you know, like and like every rhyme type also has a name and everything. And what I did with the Svanland, I picked one of these meters, you know, and then we have from the Nordic mythology, we have a lot of names from Valkyrias. And I took all the names like from a dictionary, and there's also Snorri, he left a small list of Valkyria names. And then it started, right? Then I had to assemble them with like where the stress hits in the words, what is the first syllable, how does it sound like, and like oh my God, I mean like that. If you look at my diary, there's like pages over pages where I'm like building it and constructing it and like throw it out again and do it one more time. We ended with the actual lyrics that we were using, and even though I came with something that I thought it was finished to the studio, in the studio itself, in the studio notebook, there's again notes of how I change it again, so it fits with certain rhythm ideas and everything. It's that was quite a process.
I was going to say, it definitely sounds like a process, but clearly it works. Your live performances or rituals look fantastic visually, but you take it to the next level with immersion for the audience, with other aspects and things like that. How did that concept grow into what we now experience during these rituals?
You can see it. It exists. So the live performance you see online on the first one we put out called Lifa, that was the first time we were standing on a stage together.
Yeah, right.
Yes, and the next one is, so the next release we put out is from 2021 in where you can see how it developed.
In Red Rocks.
Red Rocks in Colorado. And then the next one is the one you're gonna see live, when we are visiting you. And I think you can draw a line, on how it has been developing through time through there, right?
And it grows so organically. It's very interesting to work with this project because we don't hire a professional choreographer to guide us through how we should move or no, we all use our eyes and ears and feeling and knowledge and to see, okay, what fits this piece? How can we evolve it into something that is resemblance to what they might have done 1,000 years ago? It's a super interesting process.
Yeah, wow. So for anyone, myself included, that are yet to experience the Heilung ritual, what can we expect in terms of being there?
Well, you can expect a full-blown pre-Christian pagan ritual, but an amplified version. So what we're trying to do is, or what we're aiming to do is to alter your state of mind by guiding you through a series of human emotions from beginning till end, which is love, hate, anger, fear, joy, battle frenzy, and you go through all of this, and hopefully by the end of it you come out and feeling more relieved and at peace and with yourself, in harmony with yourself than you were when you came in.
Oh, beautiful.
Without the human sacrifices, though.
Ah, come on now.
No animal sacrifice.
So, as an experimental folk music band, is that what you class Heilung as?
Well, we made
EP drum circle on steroids.
I like that. As a drum circle on steroids, it's hard for listening to studio versions to pinpoint any modern inspirations in your music. What sort of music and bands do you guys usually listen to?
Well, not directly. Like we don't go into looking at other bands and stuff, because there are none that does exactly what we do, and
no, there's not.
And that is fine. But our big inspiration is nature, obviously, and human core emotions, and from Kai's point of view, also shamanism and history, right? So our sources come from a different place than modern music comes from directly. But of course, modern music is also evolving, from to time to a similar point. But where it mainly evolves from today is somewhere around the 40s, when we start to collect also we start to playing a certain frequency range and stuff like that. The things that we play on takes a 1,000-year jump further back in time, before we start making church chords and all these things that follow that. And that has a tendency to be in tune with nature, which is why every time we collect nature sounds and use with our songs, they fit, right? So we wouldn't be able to take a modern violin or instrument of any sort and fit it into the music, because it simply wouldn't be in tune with what. So we play with something a little bit older. But I guess modern music also came from there, and maybe that could be made a link at one point. We don't know.
It's a very good point. It's a very good point. Not only is your music amazing, but there's been, it's been a conduit for people finding relief from, things like mental illnesses, or, even ailments like tinnitus and things like that. How do you go about cultivating this experience through music? Is it the nature side that sort of brings that healing, or is there something else that you guys set out to do with your music that helps that?
I think it's a really good question. And I think it's a very golden combination of Kai digging deep on the other side, and Chris having the means, the brains, the studio to make this come alive. And then we have a group of extremely talented performers to keep that experience on. What do you want to say? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, of course, like when I start with the roots, it's I've been a member of the Foundation for Shamanic Studies for a long time, and as the name said, there's a lot of studying going on of different cultures on the planet that heal with sounds, heal with voice, and all that kind of stuff. But they were also never shy to expose themselves to modern measuring instruments, and they found out that the human brain, when it gets exposed to a certain type of rhythm for a certain amount of time, that it actually changes the activity pattern.
Wow.
And we use that knowledge, of course, in our music a lot, and that is that's why I'm convinced that is one of the reasons why people have this like extraordinary experiences when they are in one of our performances, or listen to it on headphones. But it's also like that, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, there's a lot of unaudible frequencies still in our music. Of course, you will not be able to really perceive that when you listen to MP3, but when you get an LP and when you come to our live performances, your body and your mind will be exposed to a lot of frequencies that yeah, Chris can go into that more.
Well, I remember you once showed me like a sheet of frequencies from the brain that they have figured out. It does different healing things, right? But I did a little bit further research, and some of the things we figure out, we figure out on um, intuition, and other things, we try to go very methodically with it, right? Such as playing with the tempo of your heartbeat. That is not an intuition thing. That is something we actually go in and try to hit on, right? And then elevate it or slow it down. But there's also these frequencies we put in to the tracks where, for instance, one sound can come from a bonfire, which is it's a sound you as a human or any human knows really well, right? Because we come from gathering around a bonfire, right? But there's certain singing inside of the flames that we can extract with modern means and portray that, right? Which is basically a sound you would maybe be able to zone in on if you are maybe on some sort of medicine, or if you go into a trance state. But we also do this with the singing inside of a drum. When you play it, there's this certain rhythm and song happening inside of a drum when you play it for a long time that we can extract, right? And I believe these kind of primal sounds and elements of sounds does something to us, because it reminds us of something, of a world that we are no longer in, right? We are living in concrete floors and buildings away from nature, right? And the very fact that we are being reminded of where we come from can bring us to a peace level that I believe is very but there's of course a lot more into it, that very specific things. We do write. I don't know if it's a warning or if it's a blessing, but we do write. We consciously aim to alter your state of mind with what we do, and that is something we do. Yes,
that's excellent. And well, your music, for lack of a better term, is mesmerizing. Your music's also featured in media such as the TV show Vikings, and you also did the soundtrack for Senua's saga Hellblade 2. What was it like working on those projects?
So two different ways of working. So Vikings, they just bought some of our songs, and we said yes. The initiative thing, we went out and recorded with the game developers and put a lot of energy into it.
Mm.
So it was a very interesting writing process, and new for us to be in such close dialogue with someone who is developing something graphic, and then telling us, for example, we got the mission, there's a dead whale on the beach and dead warriors floating up on the beach. What would be the soundtrack for this? And then we have a visual in our heads, and okay, whale sounds, ocean, water sounds, and then to go and be creative in the studio. And I think those 3 weeks we produced 6 hours of music or something crazy. I had a great creative process with it. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, when I started researching Heilung after seeing the Hellblade 2 trailer, I came across a reaction video from Will Ramos from Lorna Shore. Have you guys seen that? No, it's a reaction video to I'm Gonna Murder, the title, the song that was featured on the Hellblade 2 trailer in Maijin.
In Maijin,
yeah.
There we go. Yeah. He does a reaction video to that, but like the feedback that he gives is just, it's amazing. It'd definitely be worth checking out. But do you get a lot of like metal fans, or I suppose you get, all walks of life at your shows and coming up to you and giving feedback on your music? Is there any particular, genre of music fans that sort of come up the most, or anything like that?
Of course, we're listed on a metal label, so a lot of promotion goes in that way. But
Very
like
cool.
when we see our audience, they come from like literally all cultures and all colors and all subcultures. You have people where you see they come straight from office, in like tie, dancing right next to the punker dude, and then you have like the average mom that brings her kid with the big Mickey Mouse ear protection, and like, of course, then you have like the metal guy, and you have the cosplayers,
Cosplayers.
cosplayers.
So hang me up on it.
You also have cross-dressed.
We have cross-dressers, we have people like that come in like seriously hand-woven, reconstructed Viking clothes. We had in
Wow.
Siberia, there were people suddenly standing up in a traditional Siberian
That's
shaman costume. In Europe. We had in Ukraine, we had a whole unit of soldiers. They came in full on uniform and like lined up straight and like occupied the first, like the upper range, like
Wow.
all the order, like everyone. And that is also what we always say, like that everyone's up, you know, like whatever orientation, gender, color, nationality, even if you're from the moon, please come by.
Yeah.
beautiful. I love that.
Especially when you're from the moon. Yeah, when you come from the moon, you have to
visit us in the backstage. I would love to talk. Yes.
Awesome. And you guys are no strangers having complications with like customs and things like that as well, with all the extravagant set pieces. Are you expecting any issues getting in through Australian customs?
I'm a little bit nervous, as we were also last time, of course, because it says very clearly all biological material needs to be checked, and Heilung is one big biological entity of like your woods and furs and skins and bones and horns and yeah. Here, horsehair, seashells, rattles. So there's a lot of things that we need to work on. For example, rattles, we need to source it in Australia because we cannot bring anything seed-based. And yeah.
no bark.
No bark,
No,
so yeah.
treated skins and stuff like
Yeah.
that. That is one of the reasons why I will leave my shaman cult in Europe, because there's too many on it that would have to be removed, which is like a total, it's just not happening, right? When I go to Australia, the code stays at home.
Yeah. It's the only thing we can do is that list everything we have. We have a biosec permit, and then we just have to cross our fingers that the person in customs have a good day when we come and understand what we're not here to destroy your fragile ecosystem, but just do a performance.
But maybe if they will, over 20,000 people that's waiting for us in Australia, cross the fingers too.
Yes, that would help. Yes.
If you can help us with that, you know, everyone crosses their fingers. There will at least be a 40,000 crossed fingers.
That's
Absolutely.
So if you work for the border police and you're listening to, you're a Heilung fan, please make sure that you're at work when we come from customs.
Yes.
That will make it a lot easier for us.
Absolutely. I was going to say, let's hope the custom officer's a fan.
But we do, of course, do all the legwork. We have a lot of good minds on it, and of course, we are not bringing anything that is not legal to bring into the country.
Yeah.
It's a matter of respect.
Yes, of course.
Respect to nature, respect to the people that live there, respect to regulations, because we wouldn't be here like at that point where we are right now if we would be just completely ignored, just be out there.
Big part of the reason why we're coming to Australia is also we love the nature, right? And we understand that these rules is in place to keep protecting the nature. You know? So it's a dance, and it is about respect.
Yeah.
Even my hiking shoes, I will brush my soles that I do not see, and I'm not even joking.
Carl, you have training in a few minutes. Did you? Yeah, sorry, we have a little bit of a.
That's all good.
time.
I got one last question. It's been a
Yeah.
couple of years since the last album. Can we expect to receive any new material soon?
Anywhere between 5 minutes and half a year.
3
years, yeah.
That's a good perspective answer. We're constantly working on new material, and we're going to bring a few special pieces to you guys in Australia. We can already reveal that. But yeah, new recorded material.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, guys. We'll have all the links down below, and we can't wait to see you here in Brisbane and all around Australia and Auckland in New Zealand as well.
Thank you so much.
No worries, guys. Have a good day.
You too.
You too.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.